we're going to focus on something called endowments. And Jim's going to also talk about some things within the demographics of the faculty and how much people are getting paid and some ratios that are shocking. But I want to bring up the subject of endowments. So Jim brought this up last week, and it's a fact that endowments were intended originally to provide funding for schools for disadvantaged students. So if a disadvantaged student wanted to get out of poverty and get an education, the colleges were putting together these large, they started out small endowments, which were basically savings funds that the cash was put out to investments to grow. And then they were going to take a large percentage of that money and invest it into allowing students that would normally get a chance to go there because they couldn't afford it, the parents couldn't go afford it, and things like that. So that was the whole idea. And that's what the intention used to be when colleges would call alumni and ask them for money. It happened quite often. Colleges got very, very proficient at contacting alumni and getting them to participate in various endowment growth programs. So what we're going to show today is that's changed. That whole attitude towards endowment has changed. Last week I was looking at Bill O'Reilly. He was doing his newscast, and he basically shared a story about his son, who was of college age, was looking around to go to some schools, and some of the ones he was interested in were Ivy League colleges, and he did not name the school. But what he did share to his millions of audience was that he got a call from one of the Ivy League schools and said that, we basically could overlook the registration process if you're willing to invest in our school. So to Bill O'Reilly's credit, he basically told him, no, I'm not doing that. But it was an interesting story that, kind of caught my attention. So I believe those phone calls are probably happening quite often in America. So with that in mind, what say you, Mr. O'Malley? Did I nail it pretty close?
Pretty close. It's I was looking at the endowments, and in all fairness, there are colleges that mostly Midwest colleges that are actually using their endowment funds to keep down their tuition costs and helping student finance financially with more scholarships and more. There are a couple of colleges that have not a zero base, but a maximum or minimum amount of an endowment to retain. I can't remember. I remember seeing it. I was looking for it here real close. I can't remember the names, but there's a couple of them in the Midwest that actually say this is our cap of our endowment, and everything else we're spending on tuition and fees and stuff like that to help students financially. But there was a movie one time with Mr. Douglas, I think was the star in it, Michael Douglas, and he said, it's greed is good. And I think greed has infiltrated the endowment funding folks in most of these large colleges to where they are just bringing in millions of dollars in alumni donations, foreign country donations, which is kind of worrisome, and maintaining their costs and maintaining their student bodies and their undergraduates, especially at levels that are where the student is basically can financially handle themselves without needing financial aid, which takes a relief off of their endowments. They're looking more for those kind of students and the upper class, if you will, of parents that are going to pay for their kid to go to these colleges and so on. So it's kind of a business model that they've adopted in some of these big colleges to help maintain that enormous endowment and help it grow. We were talking earlier, while the costs are, well, inflation, whatever, when as things were going up at 7 or 8%, some of the endowments were growing at 33% or something like that. So it's there that it's obvious that there's something going on.
Right.
And of course, there are no government controls over the endowments as far as taxing or maximums, or there's really nothing in law that says that they have to spend this money on the students or they have to spend so much of it. None of that's there. So they're just kind of able to build these slush funds without any government imposition put upon them or any kind of controls. And certainly the biggest issue is that they don't pay any taxes on any of that money.